Good day to one and all. This is Dr. Sivaraman of iknowindices.com. Hope you are able to hear me. Let me display the good day, Sandra. Thanks for confirming the sound is okay. Asian session live market analysis on May 2nd. It is a new month. Between 5 and 5:30 GMT, we will be just reviewing the market and also analyze what could be the possible moves which could happen during this particular day. So we will track the market using the live market code page. I have given the link for the same, and I will focus the camera over that of the live market code page. Now we can see the live market code page displayed for you to view. It is trading around 1.4793, 1.4795, 1.4764 is the low, 1.4863 is the high, about 100 pips spread. They have done it quickly, gaining the levels in no time during the start of the Japanese session, and then later on dropped it, the excuse being about Osama. Now we come across 14 pips negative net change. Then in the case of GBP, it is trading around 66.53, 66.57, 66.46 is the low, 67.36 the high. GBP, they have not gained much from that of Friday close, whereas in the case of Euro, they made a little more rise and then dropped, and about 50 pips negative net change is seen when Euro is showing only 14 pips negative net change, indicating that Euro GBP, after dropping from that of 0.89, they are just gaining the level as a big beginning move on the upside to drop again. So everywhere you come across pump and dump moves. On Friday, they pumped up the market and induced all the short covering. And Monday, using the excuse, they are simply dropping it. And in the case of CHF, 0.8681, 0.8685 are the current levels. 8626 is the low. They just made a downward stop and afterwards gained the levels. 8695 has become the high, and 32 pips positive net change is seen. When Euro is showing 14 pips negative net change, CHF is showing 31 pips positive change. Because of that, Euro CHF has gained already about 31 pips. So it is trading around 1.2844, 1.2847, 1.2801 is the low, 1.2849 is the high. So they intend to gain the levels in the case of Euro CHF. Then in the case of Canadian dollar, 0.9482, 0.9486 are the current levels. 0.9448 is the low. They simply made the downward stop and quickly gained the levels to 84.92, and 35 pips positive net change is seen. So you find in the case of yen about 30 pips positive net change, and in the case of CHF about 32, and CAD about 35 pips positive net change. But excepting Euro, which is showing only 14 pips, because on Friday they just closed around 48.05 and they are not dropped. They are not gained towards close at that time, and only a brief upward stop, and they have done it about 40 pips and then started making their slide, and now below that of the psychological level 1.48. So now you come across the trend reversal moves are happening in the market, and they can use any sort of attributes for the same. And you find in the majors the USD gaining moves. And also in the case of commodity pairs, Australian dollar, they've made a final attempt of going to that 1.10 level and then started making the drop, and it is currently trading around 1.0940, 1.0943, 1.0923 is the low, 1.1009 is the high, 30 pips negative net change is seen. So in all the majors, you come across the USD gaining move as the trend reversal move. It's not big beginning false move. It is a trend reversal move, and you know that there are prime data release which are expected in this particular month, the first week of the month. So the market is expected to make volatile moves till such time. So it is not expected to make the trending move. But the suggestion could be for the traders, whenever there is a quick pullback, try to take sell positions in the case of Euro and GBP, and buy positions in the case of drop in CHF and Canadian dollar, or the denominator currency, also USD yen. And that could be able to give you a good profit, because buy and sell may give about 20-30 pips profit, but if you fail to book, then we will be struck with a higher level buy. So we have to read the intentions of the players and trade accordingly and plan our strategies, because the players are now holding high in order to book profit and also build sell positions with regard to their positions. So obviously when they build a sell position, they will withdraw the support using some excuse, and then in the process USD might gain, but actually they are doing nothing but the profit booking and building sell positions to allow the market to drop, and we may call it as a USD gaining move, but they will allow the market to drop. And when the traders technically see that they could sell in a dropping market, once the drop becomes visible, if they start selling at that time, the players buy and gain the levels in the market using some other attribute. Now the players are so capable that they can induce the leaders to create statements or make statements, and thereby they can use it as a trigger in the market and try to trap the traders. So you know that market sentiments are short-lived, and they try to use it appropriately in order to act against that of the traders. So don't be carried away by that of these, and try to read their intentions, following their type of moves, what they are doing it, and then trade wisely. So the best thing is, whenever there is a pullback, you try to sell near that of the high. When the high is not been breached for about 30 minutes or 2 hours, then you will be able to see profit in this, and that way you will be able to keep stop initially 30 pips, so that you will limit your risk only to 30 pips, and once the position makes profit, you keep stop at entry, then you will be able to see further profit in the positions. Now let me go back to that of the PowerPoint presentation. So the expected market moves for today. The swing and slide moves are expected during the Japanese session. Towards close of Japanese session, they could make further drop, and during the European session, they are expected to again make an initial drop and a lower level swing and further downward stop, and in order to induce the traders to sell, and towards close of the European session, they could firm up a little bit up to that of the initial low, slightly above as just a brief stop, and then drop quickly during that of the US session and continue to swing at the lower level. And this is the expected move in the market. And you could come across the volatile moves during the first week of the new month. So it is a trend reversal time from the last week of the month to that of the first week of the month till 6th of May. We could come across pump and dump moves. They will not just like the show give you profit of big one like 400, 500 pips. Before that, they will try to make pump and dump. So try to do only swing trade. Whenever a profit is seen, try to lock the position and try to see that you are able to get at least the minimal profit. And when there is a pullback, try to take a sell position when that high has not been breached for more than 30 minutes. Then afterwards, you will be able to see the drop again. Then with regard to the rest of the days in this particular week, tomorrow they could hold the market in a very subdued way and make a little bit of firming up slowly. And from that of the late European session, they could make the slide. So they will induce the traders to just sell and induce them to do the short covering by making a rise, then again drop. So you know that the players are capable of doing either way moves in the market. It is not that as per the sentiment they have to make one-sided move straight away. So they are expected to drop today during that of the US session and then make a lower level swing, and tomorrow open it slightly higher and just firm up till that of the early European session, and then start making the drop from the European session. And day after tomorrow, 4th, they are expected to open lower and try to make lower level swing and then further drop. Then on 5th, you expect the BOE and ECB to announce the interest rate, and before that they are expected to rise euro and GBP, and afterwards during that announcement time they are expected to make the drop. After the ECB press conference, they are expected to drop euro and GBP. Then on Friday, you come across the non-farm payrolls. They are expected to open higher and go quickly on the upside during the European session. Then afterwards, they are expected to make the volatile moves during that of the European session around 12:30 GMT. The non-farm payroll results are expected, and they are expected to make initial volatile move and quickly drop during that of the US session, as most likely the positive non-farm payroll numbers might be announced, and that could act as a trigger for the USD gaining move. So you could come across most of the time the USD gaining move. So don't try to develop any bullish or a bearish feel. And so when the USD gaining move is seen, nothing but the correction of euro. When the USD weakening move is seen, nothing but the rise of euro. So ultimately you have to trade only euro and GBP, and what you can do is you can take either a sell and buy trade or a buy and sell trade. That is how it is. Only those who are doing the currency conversions, they convert US dollar to euro and then back to US dollar and that sort of things. So don't get confused with that. And it is a question of the rising market and the dropping market. And in a dropping market, during the pullback, you can sell and then try to cover it. During the drop, use the stop to limit the risk, and once the position makes profit, keep stop at entry. That sort of trades you can do it. And immediately the questions could be how high the euro can go, how high the GBP can go, how high the AUD can go, and that sort of questions are very frequently asked. So it is not being pre-planned by that of the players as well. So they try to drop the market, and that if their traders aggressively sell, and instead of booking profit with regard to already sold positions, then the players rise up to that of the sell level. If they are kept stop at entry, then they will make a drop thereafter. If the traders are not willing to do the short covering, then they pull back upward and try to induce them to do a short covering forcibly, like a weekend and things like that, and afterwards make the drop. So this you need to understand. So in that process, when they find cluster of stops, even say in the case of Australian dollar 1.10, they just went up to 1.1009 and hit the stops and started dropping. Similarly, in the case of euro, on Friday they have not gained the levels, whereas Monday they gained the level 1.4863 and then made the drop. GBP they gained only about 20-30 pips and then drop. So this is how they make the highs. So it is not a pre-plan that they have to go up to that of the resistance and make a drop. So it is next to impossible to determine up to what level they are going to do the stopment and then reverse it. So what you have to do is, let us assume that they can go even to infinite level, but we will keep stop so that our risk is only 30 pips. That sort of understanding is very important. So if you think that, okay, they will go only up to that of the resistance and keep the stops above without doing any other strategy, then probably you will be stopped out. When the profit is seen, immediately keep stop at entry and try to grab the profit trailing the stop on the downside in a sell position. Then coming to that of the initial lows and the highs, and around 3:30 quickly they dropped and formed 1.4764, which is below the low, and that is intact, and the high is also intact. About 100 pips swing or 99 pips swing, they have done it, and they are still holding below that of 1.48. Probably they can just gain a little bit of level to 1.48 and just induce the traders to buy and afterwards drop. And 1.6658 was the initial low. They breached it and formed 1.6646 now in the case of GBP, which is a sentiment creator in the market. 1.4736 is a high, which is not breached in the case of GBP. So only in the case of GBP, the low has been breached. Euro, they are not breached it because they are handling Euro GBP to start with, gaining some levels. Afterwards, they are expected to drop like Friday, how they quickly dropped by gaining more levels in the case of GBP and less level in the case of Euro. And in fact, they dropped Euro and gained GBP during later part of US session on Friday, which was a clear-cut indication that they wanted to dump huge positions of Euro GBP. Then in the case of Euro CHF, 86.26 is a low which has not been breached, and 86.95 is a high, and currently it is just holding closer to that of the high. 86.81, 86.84 are the current level. 30 pips positive net change is seen when Euro is showing about 16 pips negative net change. And similarly in the case of Yen, they made further drop 81.11, they showed it as a Friday low and then just made a 10-pip drop, and afterwards they have just gained the levels 81.48, 81.51, just a downward stop, and afterwards 81.68 is the high. They are holding it in the middle level, and they will create the confusions for the traders whether to do a buy and sell trade or a sell and buy trade. Then afterwards they are expected to go above that of the high during the day and go up. And in the case of Australian dollar, 1.0923 has become the low, and which is intact and currently holding 20 pips above that, and 1.1009 has become the high. It is a clear-cut stop and so this is how any level you imagine they can do a stop and then drop. So if you try to do swing trade, wait for such moves during start of the session or end of the session and try to take positions. You will be able to quickly see profit in that, rather than after the market has made the drop you try to sell it. Then it is called as a visible selling. When the market is dropping, if you try to take visibly sell position, then they will make a firm up and hit your stop. So when they are holding in the middle level, don't do anything. When they pull back, and then try to sell. So whenever the momentum is there, you try to take position. If the momentum is not there, just keep away from that of the market. Then Canadian dollar 0.9448 is the low, which is intact, and 0.9490 is the high, which is also intact. They are not breached. Currently trading around 94.84, 94.88 level. So you find that only in the case of GBP, they just breached the low and they are just staying above that of 66.58. The initial low, and they are trading currently around they are trading around that of 50, 66, 54, 66, 58. So which indicates that they are just holding around that of the initial low. So you just carefully watch it more than 30 minutes. They are holding it below that of the initial low, and then you can understand what they are trying to do on that. So let me minimize the PowerPoint presentation and focus the camera over that of the live market code page and take up the questions which are asked here. With regard to this particular week, the forecast I just explained using today's expected market moves. Also, the coming days till 6th, what are the expected moves? They are all nothing but the forecast derived from that of the algorithm. So I have to fine tune it and show you or give you the appropriate market moves from time to time. So I am using the blog, very well for the updates, etc. Let me display the blog first for your convenience. There are many people who are not willing to accept the changes. So now the blog from WordPress format, it has been moved to the fxtrade.net. So you can just go to fxtrade.net and sign in. And once you sign in, you will be able to see your favorite page. You can just keep your favorite page also. Otherwise, you can straight away go to the blog. All the blogs will be displayed, and there you can come across. My blog is also listed. This is one way wherein you can read all the blogs. And if you are able to read all the blogs, you'll be able to get an overall picture what other analysts also trying to contribute on this. And you come across that some of the forecasts are given, and any forecast, it is not just like that is being prepared. They have done enormous analysis pertaining to the viewpoint, and they have displayed it. So there is no harm in going through all the type of analysis, and then you just choose or pick your favorite analysis and try to stick on to that. So this way, you will be able to objectively prepare the views. Then afterwards, you come across in the blog. My blog is being also displayed. Whenever I update, it will be shown. And so, for example, if you click here, you'll be able to see my blog being listed there. Okay. And in that, you can see also Naomi, the web director, has given the links for those who are interested only exclusively to see my blogs and things like that. So it is very similar to that of WordPress concept. Only thing is there the blogs have been isolated and there is no mechanism to list all the blogs. Instead, they just gave the latest update so that wherever the update is given, you will be able to see those blogs instead of repeatedly visiting it and looking for the updates. Automatically, you get the RSS feed also, and you can click the specific links here, which are given by Naomi, and with these links, you will be able to visit my blog and also the corresponding comments, etc. So you just save the link in your favorite. You will be able to see all the posts what I am giving it. So whenever a new post is added, it will be given here, and you can save it in the favorite. And those links are already given here. There are 3 links given, and you can just go through those links. That will be able to give you a overall picture. So whenever I give the comment to that of the questions, which will also be listed here. So it is easy for you to understand. So try to understand the new format. You'll find it is more user friendly for you to get the benefit of visiting my blog, and also you have got access to that of other blogs which are being updated, and that will give you more insight. So this is nothing but trying to give a comprehensive information to that of the visitors who come to FX Street. Now let me focus the camera over the live market code page and answer to the questions which are asked here. Then Robert, could you please give us any idea whether GBP will regain upward momentum? Yeah, GBP is expected to gain some upward momentum, probably tomorrow, day after, something like that, because they wanted to drop Euro GBP. In that process, Euro may not rise much and GBP could gain. And you know that earlier we have seen that Euro was gaining most of the time and GBP was gaining less. And everybody thought that Euro is a good pair to trade instead of GBP. Now they will just reverse it and show GBP is a good pair to trade on the upside and Euro may not rise. And in that process, Euro GBP, they are expected to drop. So it's a question of strategy of the players, nothing to do with the respective currencies, weakness and the strength. They are nothing but the intraday moves. So do you think that there will be further down dropping for GBP? So you can do sell and buy trade. Whenever there is a quick upward move, then you try to take sell position in the case of GBP. You can also do buy and sell trade, but use that strategy. Keep 30 pips stop, and once the position makes profit. Now, for example, JBP formed a new low, and afterwards it has gone above that of 66.58, and that is the initial low. And if it sustains above that, then probably you can try to take a buy position for more than 30 minutes. Then try to take a buy position, keeps 30 pips below the stop, and move the stop to entry once the position makes profit. When they quickly gain the level, don't think that they will hold it comfortably for you to book profit. Grab the profit. Then, what source might be the best to get the updated on the latest excuses they are using to trigger? See, there are scheduled and unscheduled resources, and that can be used as an excuse for triggers. So scheduled ones are being listed in FX Street, the data events, what are the time frame the data are expected to be released, and those things will be able to give you that, okay, if they rise the market before the data release, understand it's a false move, they wanted to drop after the data. If they drop before the data, then understand at least first 30 minutes they will make a rise and afterwards only make the drop if they want, continuing the trend. So that is the scheduled data event. There are unscheduled, like the speeches. There are scheduled speeches as well as unscheduled speeches, and also some of the informations like downgrade, upgrade and things like that. They are not normally listed and they can use it. But ultimately what is more important is at any time either they can release a rumor or a factual information, whatever it is. So every time is vulnerable. So keep that in mind, keep stop, so that you don't take unlimited risk, rather than try to find a source wherein they are they are listing all the unscheduled and scheduled and try to explore it. And you can do that, but at the same time, see that you are not taking undue risk. Otherwise, change your trading plan like a position trade. So every 150 pips rise, I will take a sell and calmly wait. I will not get perturbed. My equity will protect my positions. This is how you have to decide. Okay, depending upon the equity, depending upon the time available for trading and the constraints in the trading platform, you have to take a decision what sort of trading I have to do. Simply, if you imagine that I will do position trade and I won't bother simply taking positions and afterwards I will not look into it, that may not help, because you have to put in hard work. It is a money earning process. Without hard work, you are not expected to earn money. It is not a fluke or just a chance. Then trader 1. Is it safe to say that this is the final upward? No, nothing like that, sir. They can do any number of finals. For the day, probably it might be final. Then Caesar. All quick moves are false moves in the market, you know very well. And when the traders continue to sell, the players can make one more upward stop. And if they buy comfortably, then they will drop it. Your expectations for the week and the month in euro negative. What level do you see today, euro? Again, asking the levels. Can you estimate? Why not you estimate by yourself? They have got a tendency to drop up to 150 pips net change level. Are you not in a position to estimate it, please? I am going to do this analysis. I explained what is the method by which I am estimating it. So you try to develop that particular practice. Then Eric, with most banks having a holiday today, do you see USD gaining? Yeah, still there are so many days, even many of the banks are closed, still they have done such moves. Then Robert, I noticed a night gap down in silver. Might be this. Yeah, settling at the trend. Yeah. So in the kind of commodities, they made the drop on Friday. They simply induced those who have not done the short covering when they have gained enough profit and started selling it as if it is going to be a falling object. But ultimately, what they have done, they made an extensive upward stop on Friday and quickly dropped it from that level. So either way they trap. It is not the question of setting the trend, and if you think like that, then it might be extremely difficult for you to understand the market moves. So if all the traders sell thinking that it is going to collapse, then they have to buy it, because the market has to be functional. So if all are sellers, then no buyer, it is going for a downward freeze. And in stock market, some of the euphoric conditions or some of the panic situations, you find that stocks come to that downward freeze. There are all sellers and no buyer. And similarly also all buyers, no sellers. These conditions happen. But in the currency market, they cannot just do it. So what they do is, if that traders predominantly start selling, they absorb all the sells, make one gain and make one upward stop and quickly, and induce them to just close the position with a loss, then start building sell positions again. So they are opportunistic players. So when the traders sell, the players buy. When the traders buy, the players sell. So we have to understand that. Then Caesar. What is the outlook for gold today? Do you see the major drop? Yeah, similar to silver, gold is also expected to drop after some time, because they will not simultaneously drop everything. Then unless and otherwise a situation comes that it is a very drastic situation, then they probably go in for such drops. Otherwise, they handle it nicely. So when the silver drops and the traders sell, then they try to make the moves opposite, just firm up gold again, hit the stops, and then continue the drop. So they can do that sort of moves easily. Then, able. Earlier you said that trend reversal USD can clearly further. You mean Euro net not expected to go below 1.50, above 1.50? It's not like that. As I explained that, see, the levels are not even pre-planned by the other players. Again and again I am repeating it. The levels are not predetermined by the players, and they are all the conditions by which they make 50 pips on a daily basis upward, or 150 pips on the upward, and things like that, depending upon the traders taking positions. So when Osama news was released, and immediately they dropped it. After the drop, the traders have sold. So what they have to do? They have to just absorb all the selling and try to gain the levels in the market, induce them to do the short covering, afterwards drop. So this is how they do it. So if you understand this simple mechanism, then you will be able to come out of this concept of that they can go up to 1.50 or they can go up to 1.70 and things like that. They are all nothing but the expectations or the derivations which are done using a mathematical formula. So when you do any mathematical calculations, and in real time, they need not be repeated and they need not be respected. To a larger extent, it might be respected, but you come across invariably there will be a variation of the actuals from the other expectations. That is what I am telling you, that in spite of any type of analysis, there could be a deviation in the market in an actual condition. There can be so many other type of triggers which can certainly happen, and simply we may say that because of fundamentals the market has reversed, just ignoring what technically we have said earlier. That is bound to happen in the market. But what is more important for us is how exactly we are handling the positions. So the trading strategy is vital for anybody who is trying to use any type of analysis. Ultimately, trading strategy is alone trying to give them the opportunity to earn. Then same for Aussie, that not expected to go to 1.10. That is what you are giving more importance to level, so every time you will become surprised. What is the momentum? Momentum is nothing but the quick actions in the market. So sometimes they gain the levels, in 3 steps, like an extended move. The momentum will increase. So in a given level, they will not trade for more than a minute. Then they will go to higher level, higher level, higher level. That is momentum. If they simply hold it, then it is consolidation. I think you should go through all these things by searching in the net. You get the explanations for all type of technical, the financial terminologies which are used by that of the analyst. And do you have to use the old blog for the registering for the webinar or the old one? No. As far as registering for the webinar, there is a separate page, and the links are given in under the heading webinars, and also before that of the start of the webinar, they are being highlighted in the home page. You can click in the home page, the heading of the webinar, and you will be taken to that of the registration page. There you can register it. The blog is nothing but you have to register in the blog that is in fxtrade.net in order to log in and see. But without login also you can just see the comments. But if you want to post anything, comment, then you have to log. Then check. When is the trend reversal? Is it next week? Yeah, the trending move is expected to commence from next week. But trend reversal is a process. It's not a one-day event. It is a process. So it will take at least about 2 weeks to happen. So in that they will make sequential trend reversal. I explained it earlier how exactly the sequential trend reversal happens. They do it in that of the commodity pairs, then subsequently the yen crosses and the majors, and finally the European crosses will bring in trend reversals. So do you think that, Robert, GBP will rise today? What could be the low? No, at the moment they breached the low and they are staying above that of the initial low. So there is a likely chance that GBP could gain the levels very quickly and just make an upward stop on above the high and then make a drop. So they will use GBP to create the market sentiment. So any GBP data release could be used as a trigger to create the market sentiment against that of what the sentiment they earlier created by using Osama, and then afterwards during the European session, late European session, they could firm up and then drop during the US session. And when do you expect USD CHF and USD yen crosses to reverse? Yeah, they are already done on Friday the downward move and they are slowly gaining the levels. You find that of the net change in the case of the denominator currencies are more when compared to that of euro. You are gaining. Can you sometime explain your approach to that of the trading forex compared to your way of trading the commodities and the equities market? Yeah, probably, if possible, I'll try to. I'm doing tracking the forex market together, and in that I'll probably explain about that of the stock market as well as commodity market trading as well. Because there the markets are slightly different when compared to that of the forex market, which is 24 hours market, and the commodity is also 24 hours market in online. Besides, you come across the NYMEX and things like that. So where like in Hong Kong and then in London and New York, you'll come across sudden moves happening in the market. So I'll try to explain those things later on. So no more questions. So let me go back to that of the PowerPoint presentation. So expected market moves for today. Swing and slide moves are expected during that of the Japanese session, and a lower level swing and firm up towards European session close. Then afterwards, a quick drop could happen during that of the US session and a lower level swing. So it is first week of May. We'll come across continuous pump and dump moves. Suddenly they are expected to drop. Suddenly they are expected to rise. This sort of moves are expected. Then afterwards, from the second week, they are expected to make the trending move. And for the BOE ECB interest rate announcement time, there could be quick rise and a quick drop in the market, and also for non-farm payrolls, which is expected to be released on Friday. So don't think that it is the end of the market. So any news might be released, and after some time again you will come across another news will take over the market moves, and accordingly the market is expected to make. Ultimately you are going to trade only these currencies, Euro, GBP, USD and USD CHF and the cross, etc. So there is no need that all the currencies need to follow the sentiments what is being created. Probably the majors Euro and GBP might do it, but other currencies will have their own moves depending upon the net long built up, net short built up by that of the traders from time to time. So I'll come back again tomorrow and take yet another session of Asian session live market analysis. Till such time, I wish to thank FX Street and also you people who have come here to listen to my webinar. Thank you one and all. See you tomorrow. Meanwhile, I'll post it in the blog and we'll take up from there and track the market.